All right, the next thing we want to cover is what's new in terms of the UI. Actually, there's some biggish change that you should probably be aware of. Let's take a look at what it looks like probably now in your system. And I just happen to have the same GPO up on both sides here. Let's take a look. So if I were to click on something like event logging level here, something simple, you can click enable, then you can see enter 0 through 3, and maybe I want to turn on this thing and click 2 or something like that. Let's take a look at this exact same policy setting in the new UI for the new GPMC that, like I said, right now only runs on Windows Vista, Win7. So I click on event logging level here. Look, not configured, enabled, or disabled is all the way on the left. We have the ability for comments here as opposed to in the old way, or, well, let's call it the old way. It's on its own tab, okay, so that part's changed. And you can also see where once it's enabled, you can just, you've got the options down here in this its own sort of little window here, and we'll select a 1, 2, or 3 up there, that kind of a thing. So that's kind of neat. That's sort of an interesting UI change. For instance, other group policy objects that, let me see if I can, and you, by the way, you can go previous or next, which will go up and down. Watch the little gray bar over there. If I click next, you see the little gray bar move down there. We had that in the old UI. That was over here. You could just click on setting and go to previous and next setting. So I go to next, 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 next. I don't know that many people that actually use that, but it's always been there. And then you could, the kind of thing I want to show you now is sort of the new table view. So let's take a look at administratively assigned offline files in the old way. And again, I don't really want to talk about the setting itself. That's not really what I'm driving at. What I want to talk about right now is the actual UI changes. So if I click on administratively assigned offline files here, and I click on enabled, and I click show. Actually, before I click show, let me read this real quick. It says, in the name field, type a fully qualified UNC path for each file or folder. Do not enter a value for the item. Okay, got it. So I'll click on show here, and it says value name and value. So I click add, and sure enough, it tells me the name of the item, and it says don't enter a value name. So for the name, I'll type whack-whack-dc share, and I'll call this file1.txt. And while I'm here, I'll add whack-whack-dc share to file1.txt. Okay, I'm doing exactly what it says. I click OK. I click OK again. And that's it. So it's all configured, and I go back in, make sure, yep, I've fulfilled the obligations of this particular policy setting. If I do this in the new UI, though, things get a little complicated. So let me go ahead and click on administratively assigned offline files in the new interface, and let's take a look and see what we see. Well, here, if I click enabled, I now get the ability to click show here. When I do that, I can then click on a value name, like whack-whack dc whack share 3, whoops, share 3 file1.txt. And remember, the policy setting right here is very clear. It says do not enter a value for the item. But if I try to click OK here, it says there's no entries in the list. There's some kind of disconnect right now in this UI between value names and value. It absolutely requires some kind of value. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to shake out, but I just wanted to point this out now in case in your testing you have you want to give this a shot and you find the same thing. But long story short, this is the new table view. I have no idea how value is going to be interpreted at this point, but anyway, so if I do whack-whack-dc whack-share for file1.txt and give it a value, apparently I have to give it a dummy value right now. And if I want to go back into the GPO, into the policy setting and click show, I could, if I want to, wipe out a whole line item by just wiping it all out. What I have noticed, though, is that there's no way right now to wipe out the whole item like this. There's no seeming way to do that. It gives me this kind of an error message. So what I've done for now is if I really don't want to configure the whole thing, I'll just select not configured back to the way it was. And since this is grayed out, I can be relatively confident it's not obviously just, delivering any settings. All right, so that's the new UI changes. I kind of wanted to be clear about that. I also wanted to tell you what else, the other big new thing that comes with Win7. And that's going to be PowerShell integration with group policy. Now, it's not all across the board. It's not every possible setting. However, you do have the ability to deliver registry punches using group policy And the group policy team is probably going to talk more about that. I've got their blog up here. Just go to blogs.technet.com/group policy. I'm not going to be demonstrating this right now, but you can read about their take on that new feature right now. Okay. The last thing that is new is the new settings that you can actually deliver for Windows 7. The downside is that it's kind of hard to track these guys down. There's still a bug in the UI that prevents me from actually showing you just the Windows 7 new settings. So I've kind of been poking around and trying to find a couple of them. So let me see if I can find one for you right now. So under admin templates, start menu and taskbar, there's something new in here. I can't remember where I found it. I'm just going to paw through it really quick. There we go. Here's one. Remove search everywhere link. So if you double click this guy, you can see that it's supported on at least Windows 7 or Server 2008 R2. And I'm trying to get a list of the new settings, and I'll let you know as soon as I have them available. So if you get a minute, do me a favor. I'm going to have a survey set up. I'd like to get your feedback on what I showed you. Specifically, I'd like to get your feedback on this new kind of larger UI that has the comment. So basically no more tabs, right? So the comments are in one place, the options are in one place, and the help text is in one place, and so is the enabled, disabled, and not configured. I'm sure that was the rationale, so no more tabs here. Let me know your opinion on that, if you like the new way or the old way, and I'll send your vote up to Microsoft, as well as any other comments you have for the team based on what I've showed you here. What I can say is I would guess that this stuff is pretty locked down, but if there's some setting or some configuration that really rubs you the wrong way, let us know why. And like I said, I'm just going to forward the whole survey lock, stock, and barrel over to the group policy team and give them your opinion. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for whatever's next. Thanks so much.